So I can't believe I have to make a video like this, but the Boston Bruins just lost to the Florida Panthers in a 7-game series of round 1 after having the greatest regular season in NHL history. Now I've taken a couple days, reset, cried a little bit, and now here we are talking about the Bruins and what this means for the club, their history, their future, and their current fan base. I mean, after this disappointing loss, it seems like Boston's a little bit in shambles, and they don't really know what to think about their club and their favorite NHL team. So I want to start by talking about the Florida Panthers and Bruins series and just talking about how much of a gamer Matthew Tkachuk is and how underrated this Florida team is after winning the President's Trophy last year and basically putting their heads down to get into the playoffs this year. Props to Paul Maurice. He outcoached Jim Montgomery. The team wanted it more. They played more physical, won board battles, took control of the puck when they needed to, and scored in clutch time when they knew they needed the goal. The Panthers were a better team, so hats off, stick taps to them. They are a team that deserved to move on. Now talking about the Boston Bruins team. Their future is looking a little bit scary. And you could go one or two ways with this, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as a lot of people let on. So we're going to start by talking about the forward group of the Boston Bruins and what the future of this team will look like offensively first. So your top line is going to look something like this. If Bergeron and Krejci retire, it's going to be Coyle, Marchand, and DeBrusk. Second line is going to be Pastrnak, Zacha, and it's going to be Bertuzzi if you're able to re-sign him. Now that seems to be the really big thing here when it comes to the Bruins. Who can you re-sign? How much cap space do you have to do it? And who's worth it? So I personally think with the unrestricted free agents being Orlov, Bertuzzi, Swayman, I think those are the guys that you need to bring back. Obviously, Nick Foligno is an unrestricted free agent. You don't re-sign him. You get rid of guys like maybe Trent Frederick, maybe Brandon Carlo to keep Orlov, and you trade away a guy, unfortunately, like Hall, who I think is a great piece for the Bruins, but at $6 million a year to play on a third line, I just don't think the Bruins' cap space will allow them to do this, especially considering the bonus that's going to hit the Bruins with $4.5 immediately off the books because of the friendly deal that Bergeron and Krejci signed. Which brings me to my next topic. If Bergeron and Krejci do retire, the Bruins don't really have a top-line center, which means your best center on the team is either Zacha or Coyle. Guys who people consider to be third, maybe second line centers at best. So what do you think about that situation? Do you think if Bergeron comes back, the team is in a better situation? Or do you think it's kind of to the point where the Bruins, if they move on from Bergeron, do they need to go acquire a center, which means can you sign Bertuzzi? Can you sign Orlov? Can you keep most of the team together? Now here's one of the biggest questions for the Bruins that I don't think is being talked about enough. What do you do at goaltender? Linus Ullmark just won the Vezina, and Jeremy Swayman just played like a young, incredibly talented goaltender. Now, Linus Ullmark is in his prime right now, and Jeremy Swayman will be entering his prime. Do you bet all of your money on your goaltending and pay Swayman top dollar because he deserves top dollar, being the top 4 or 5 goalie in the league along with Linus Ullmark, or do you move on from one of these guys and then decide to invest in other key pieces? Now, this just seems to be the overall topic for the Bruins, and not to get into boring cap space topics and things like that, but I just think, unfortunately for the Bruins, you have a lot of players that you need to pay, and you have a lot of guys that you won't be able to pay due to your cap restrictions. So, yeah, unfortunately, the Bruins lost. Do I think it's the worst collapse in sports history? No, but it's definitely up there as one of them. I think if you're a Boston Bruins fan, you should look at this season and say, that was a fun ride. Take it for what it was. Enjoy the Stanley Cup playoffs. And basically just start the debate about who you want to sign next season, because this Boston Bruins team is going to look very different come next year. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment on this video if you like this format. I'll be talking about other teams as we go through the playoffs. But, yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm going to cry a little bit more. And let's go Leafs.